Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. Back at Mount Sharp again, back on the chemcam, which is actually very cool. Here's the page. There'll be a link to this page below in the description, as there will for everything else that's shown in the video, including music and everything else. Okay, now this is Sol 1356, as it says here. 1356, and the images you want to look at are the ones at the bottom here, which have been enhanced. Now, they've just had the contrast corrected on them and are actually pretty good. These are much better than the mass cam images we normally get and are a lot clearer. Even though they're black and white, they're clearer and sharper, and at least portions of the image are actually in focus, which is unusual for Mars images because they're usually completely blurred and no good to man or beast. Okay, right, so let's crack on with it. I'll try not to be too long. I've got some of the images up here already in a folder. I've got those images already up here. The one I was really interested in was this one, where you have, I think this is Logan Pass, going all the way up to Mount Sharp, up the edge of Mount Sharp here, and you have multiple structures in here, and a lot of them are very upright, like this one. There's some squares and lots of rectangular structures, what look like walls and terraces up here. You have multiple buildings up here that look ruined, here, and there's a structure sticking up there. There's loads of stuff, and I have covered a lot of these buildings before in previous videos about Mount Sharp, so check out the Mars bunker and the Mars pyramid ones that I've done recently in the last few months. I even gave a lot of these images, or similar images, to Ancient Aliens for the TV show Ancient Aliens, and they showed them on the Mars documentary they did very recently, which has just been aired in the US and I think just aired in the UK. So check me out on Ancient Aliens if you haven't already. I'm in the first one of the new series and the second one. The first one's about Antarctica and the second one's about Mars. I may also be in number 5 or 6, which I think is about the moon, but I'm not too sure because I haven't seen it yet. Now, if you don't have cable TV, you can't really watch it, but there are 1 or 2 people on YouTube showing these episodes, the first 3 or 4 episodes of Series 11, which is this year. There are a few channels showing it, but they're not showing it in HD, they're only showing it in 360p or something like that. So it's okay for a preview, but I do recommend you watch it in full HD on your TV if you can. Okay, so do check that out, because I have supplied a lot of this stuff to them. They didn't use all of it, of course. They only used probably about a quarter of what I actually gave them, but they may use more later on, hopefully. So we shall see. So this was one of the more interesting ones, because you have this square thing here with whatever that's supposed to be. I mean, I can't see how that's natural. But unfortunately, these images are in focus at the bottom of the image, or near this part of the image. This is where it's in focus. So these walls and structures actually are a lot more in focus here than the stuff further back. And the nearer the top you get, the further away it is, and the more out of focus it becomes. So you've got to kind of squint your eyes, but you can tell there's a big building here, this thing here, with some interesting structures here. Look, that's a building. This is a building here, and is in fact, I think, the bunker that I did a previous video about, which you can actually see into from a different angle. There's an entrance on there you can see. So do check those previous videos out, but there's loads of stuff in here. I will put some enhancements at the end of the video of all this, like I normally do, and take some clips and push the contrast for you and show you some of this stuff closer up, because there's loads of crazy structures here, and even though a lot of it's a little bit out of focus, you can tell that these are not natural, because they're too upright and they're perfectly straight. What can I say? And I was really hoping that we would get a shot a little bit further up here, because this is a massive building here, or at least the remains of one. This one here, just right at the top, but unfortunately the camera wasn't looking up quite high enough, so we're only seeing the base of the structure here, this thing. That was a shame, because I have showed that in a previous video from further back, and I thought this is definitely a building, so it has perfectly straight sides to it. And I'm hoping that in images to come we will get to see it in its full glory, because that to me is one of the most obvious structures in this area. But there's loads of them in these images. I've got some of them up here in my processing thing here. Now I've already added colour filters to these and enhanced the contrast to save a little bit of time. And there was this one, which has an interesting structure at the top here, just here, which looks kind of like a building sticking up, and another pointed structure here, and what could be a building here with a sort of tower sticking up. You know, it almost looks like a mosque or something. I mean, that's insane. Some crazy stuff going on there. I mean, you've really got to look at these images, and you don't have to do much to them. Here's that one with the square again. I've added a filter to it, and you can see that square. That doesn't look natural at all to me, and nor do a lot of these things over here. This thing here, that's that big bunker, this there. So the shadows really give away the shapes here, and a lot of it's in quite heavy shadow here, but I think a lot of these structures further down are also ruined buildings. I mean, they're just all over the place. So I'll do some more clips of those in a minute for you, and we'll see those closer up. But it's a real shame they're not in full focus, because basically the part of the image that's in focus is down here. They're looking at these rock layers here, which are probably natural, a lot of them, but these things at the top, like this, maybe not. I mean, that could well be part of a ruined structure like we've seen before. And it's not just me finding these things. Many of us researchers have been finding these things out for a number of years. In fact, I did say probably in some of my very early videos from 2014 that there are buildings on Mount Sharp, multiple buildings, including pyramids and bunkers and possible ancient ruins of military stuff, and you know, God knows what else. It's all there, you know, and if there was a nuclear war on Mars, then maybe this was one of the targets. Maybe this was a military base. So there we go. I won't take too long on this because I want to show you some more taken by the chemcam, which were from Sol 1297. Now, I'm not sure if Neville T has actually done a gigapan of these. He may well have done, so check out the gigapan site and type in Sol 1297 and see what comes up, because we may have a nice gigapan of these that you can look at and scan the whole area. Now, these are not of Mount Sharp. These are of Gale Crater, looking towards the edge of the crater. So these are much further back. So yes, we have more in this one with the hill-like structure sticking up here. Now these, I've already enhanced these just with a bit of colour filter. I just think they look more natural with a bit of colour. And I've added a little bit of contrast, but really nothing else. I haven't gone in and done much to these at all. I mean, you don't even have to enhance them really. You can see these things already. And you can see that there's a rectangular structure sticking out on top of this ridge here. And these look rather strange, some of these square-like structures down here. That may well be a building. If it is a building, it's very large indeed, because this is miles and miles and miles away from the rover, and they're still showing up. So, as I've said before, some of these structures are enormous. Okay, and we're only seeing the really large stuff in these images because a lot of the things are just too far away. Okay, now a lot of them just look like natural structures, like this ridgeline here, but there seems to be something interesting up here, which could be a massive building or something, and lots of straight, long, straight structures. They're all over the place. So this goes to show further that what I've been saying all along about Gale Crater is probably true, that there are multiple structures in the area, and some of these down here look interesting as well. Really straight, long structures here. There's something there. So I'll put some more clips of these in at the end in a minute, and clip these out and enhance them a bit more and see what we can find, because there's so much in these. I mean, I can't go through them all now because we'll be here all day. There's just so much to see. Okay, so thanks for watching everybody. I'll see you soon.